I want to share with you a terrifying story that happened on Halloween. It's a true story, or so they say, and it made my hair stand on end when I first heard it. It took place many years ago in my town, which at the time was a small village nestled between the mountains of Catalonia, Spain. The town was little more than a small square with a church, a park, a prison, and a school, with houses clustered around. The townspeople took great pride in their school, as it had been voted the best in the province. On the morning of October 31st, Halloween, a class of students were busy with arts and crafts. Some were cutting out skeletons from paper, others were painting vampire bats, and some were drawing pumpkins. The children were around 8 or 9 years old. Their teacher, a young and beautiful woman, had only been working at the school for a month. As the children enjoyed preparing decorations for the Halloween party, the teacher turned on the radio to listen to the weather forecast. She was planning an outdoor party later in the day and wanted to check if the weather would cooperate. Suddenly, the forecast was interrupted by a news bulletin. This is an important announcement. A convicted murderer has escaped from the local prison and is on the loose. He is armed and extremely dangerous. Please do not attempt to apprehend him. The police will. The teacher rushed across the room and turned off the radio, not wanting to alarm the children. But it was too late. The children had heard the broadcast and were now terrified. They knew the prison was nearby. The teacher tried to calm them down, telling them not to worry. Minutes later, the school principal made an announcement over the intercom. "Attention all teachers. We've been informed of a serious situation in the town. All teachers are advised to lock the doors and windows of their classrooms until the police have the situation under control. I repeat, lock all doors and windows until further notice." The teacher reassured her class and locked the door with her key. She then went around, closing every window and making sure everything was secure. One little girl raised her hand and asked if she could go to the bathroom. The teacher hesitated, but the girl insisted. Finally, the teacher relented, telling her that it was unlikely the murderer would come to the school. She gave her permission but told her to knock in a special way when she returned so they would know it was her. The secret knock was 3 taps followed by 2 scratches. Tap tap tap. Scratch scratch. The girl left to go to the bathroom, and the teacher locked the door behind her. To distract the children from their fear, she began telling stories. After 20 minutes, she began to worry when the girl still hadn't returned. "What's taking her so long?" the teacher muttered to herself. Then, they heard footsteps in the corridor. Everyone froze. They heard a sound at the door. Tap tap tap. Scratch scratch. "She's back," the teacher sighed in relief. She walked over to the door, took out her key. "What if it's not her?" asked one boy, shivering with fear. The teacher hesitated, her key inches from the lock. Then, they heard it again. Tap tap tap. Scratch scratch. "It must be her," the teacher said, unlocking the door. Suddenly, the door burst open, and standing in the doorway was a tall man, holding a knife in his right hand and the little girl's severed head in his left. The murderer, grinning from ear to ear, stepped into the classroom. The children were trapped. The only sounds in the school corridors were the screams and cries of terror. In the chaos, the teacher managed to break a window and escape, crawling to safety. But the children weren't so lucky. When the police arrived, they found the murderer sitting in the middle of the classroom. The walls, ceiling, and floor were covered in blood. Little body parts lay scattered around him. He had dismembered every child in the class. They found the headless body of the little girl in the 3rd stall of the bathroom. The police pieced together what had happened. The escaped prisoner must have been hiding in the bathroom when the girl went in. He must have surprised her, forced her to give him the secret knock, and then decapitated her. Today, the teacher is in a psychiatric hospital, never recovering from the horrors of that day. She can't stop repeating, tap tap tap. Scratch scratch. Tap tap tap. Scratch scratch. The school was abandoned after that, with parents refusing to send their children there. Too many bad memories. the building remains as it was when the murders took place. It's said that if you visit the old school and go into the classroom, you can still see blood dripping down the walls. If you're brave enough, you can go to the bathroom. Tap 3 times, then scratch twice on the door of the third stall. Open it. Inside, you'll find the headless body of the little girl, still sitting on the toilet.